Well, let me welcome you to our conversation this afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, there seems to be confusion in the land over last Wednesday's Supreme Court pronouncement on the case brought in by 3 state governors, Kaduna, Zamfara, and Kogi, in respect of the new Naira design policy. There are those who say that the Supreme Court was categorical that its previous order subsists until the next adjourned date. And there are those who say it was simple interpretation of the silence of his lordships to mean that that order subsists. Where do we stand in this matter? Which one are we to take?
Thank you for having me. The initial order given by the Supreme Court, that's the ex parte application,
Yes,
made by the 3 states of
applied to by Kaduna, Zamfara, and
Kogi. I think that order was an interim order.
Yes.
And it's to arrest the situation that was going out of hand. As a matter of fact, that order is still subsisting, not minding that other states have also applied to be joined. You understand? And when they met on that adjourned date, it was further adjourned again for this one on the 22nd of oh yes. As a matter of fact, that first order, the interim order, is still subsisting.
That if it subsists,
Yes.
and President, by that first order,
Yes.
200, 500, 1,000 were to remain legal tender. But by the President broadcast
Yes.
on Thursday morning, the President said 200 naira should be returned into circulation, while 500 and 1,000 are not to be used. Was the President, by that pronouncement, disobeying the Supreme Court order?
There's no doubt about that. The President actually disobeyed an order of court that is subsisting. Because aside the Supreme Court, there's no way you can appeal to. As a matter of fact, what the pronouncement of Mr. President on Thursday, that 200 naira, the old 200 naira, should be reintroduced and go side by side with the new 1,000 and the 200 and 500. That statement by the President runs against the law. Because ordinarily, the only way they can vacate that order is to apply to the same Supreme Court that gave that interim order. And if that is not obtained, whatever the President has said is not to be obeyed, as a matter of fact. Because the President is not the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the last court of the land.
In other words, the Kaduna State Governor and now the Kano State Governor, who have said their citizens, residents, should keep using the old money, they are acting within the law.
It is not for the states to say that the citizens of those states should go ahead and start making use of those monies. The court knows how to go about the implementation, not the state now doing it by themselves. Because for me, that is what I would call self-help. The court that gave those orders have mechanism with which they can enforce that. For me, is I think they are trying to muzzle up with the federal government, and it shouldn't be. So they should leave that job for the Supreme Court to do.
Please, now the President has disobeyed the Supreme Court order.
Yes, of course.
The governors are resorting to self-help. Are we seeing executive rascality?
I think that is exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. So for me, I think the President should retrace his steps and abide by the order of the courts. And for the state that said that the citizens should go ahead and be using the old Naira notes, like I said, is tantamount to self-help. So they should also not go in that direction, because it will bring a chaotic situation, which we don't know where it will take us.
Yeah, that even takes me to my last question for you. Okay. The citizen is the person caught in this confusion and in this rascality. Does he have any legal remedy, since this pronouncement comes from the highest court in the land, and his infraction, his disobedience is coming from the highest executive authority? Where does this leave the citizen?
I think it is a hopeless situation for the citizen, because they are caught between the two fights, the war, you understand? So ordinarily, the president ought to have obeyed the valid order of the court. Valid order of the court. So I think for the citizen, I think they actually bear in the brunt, no doubt about that. But I think they are handicapped in this instance. They're actually handicapped. Except they will also go and join in the suit to force the federal government to abide by the order of the courts.
So as I live here, I can walk out and act legally by giving somebody the old 1,000 naira note.
Yes, very well. Not minding the pronouncements
of the governor or the president.
Yes, or the president, because we are acting on the order of the court. Like I said, you cannot appeal to any other court any longer. You can only
appeal to the same
Supreme Court to either review its decision or its judgment as a matter of fact. So I think they are just. In fact, the whole thing is just chaotic. You understand? And then going further again, the Naira redesign or whatever they call it, I think it's well intended. It's a very wonderful policy for me, but the time or even the implementation is very wrong. Ordinarily, they ought to have allowed both currencies to be going side by side, pending when the old note have been fully mopped up from circulation. So for me, I think Mr. President should reconsider allowing the old Naira notes and the new note to be going side by side, not just the 200 Naira. Though I know he's trying to get at some persons. You understand? Those who are involved in vote buying, terrorism, and what have you, kidnappers and what have you. Yes, I agree. But the citizens are going through difficult times. Through difficult times. I might even surprise that the essence of even they might be defeated at the end of the day. Because if some of the politicians were able to get some of these Naira notes and kept in their house, they can also use even 200 Naira to even influence the voters. Because if you go to ATM, there's no cash. You can't get to the bank here. Some of the banks are even shut down because of fear of being attacked by the restive youth or the restive Nigerians, so to speak. So that is just that.
Thank you very much for coming to the conversation.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure.